So hi guys, good evening. So this is Banu, and today we are going to discuss the session about how we can implement CI/CD process using the tools which we are aware. We know the tools like how we can implement CI/CD. Jenkins is one of the tools. TeamCity is another tool. Circle CI. So like this, we have many number of tools to implement DevOps CI/CD process. So when it comes to Jenkins, I can rate Jenkins is the topmost tool in all of DevOps CI/CD implementations. Why? Because Jenkins has it's open source and it has a lot of integration facility and lot of customizable facility, and there are a wide range of plugins, and still many people are supporting the development of Jenkins plugins. So in Jenkins, we can install n number of plugins, and all the latest plugins, we can install in Jenkins. That is how wide range of plugins will provide the facility of integration to different variety of tools. So that is the biggest advantage of using Jenkins. The first advantage is Jenkins is open source, and the second advantage is that it has wide variety of plugins which can provide integration with multiple tools. Because in DevOps we use open source and licensed versions as a combination to fulfill our DevOps CI/CD process. So that's what we can use any kind of tool set in DevOps. It's our choice, but we should be able to choose the tools based on the technology and the language developers are developing and the way their delivery timelines are planned. So each in the tool set should fulfill all of the project needs. So even if you consider all of the things, the continuous integration, continuous delivery, or continuous deployment, any aspect can be implemented using Jenkins. And I had given some of introduction about Jenkins yesterday. It is open source, and at the same time, it has a licensed version also. So the open source version we can use, and many companies still using the open source Jenkins. And most of the companies who are using Jenkins are facing some issues. Like whenever there is huge load on the Jenkins, they might face some issues. But until then, they are very comfortably using the Jenkins. And then the licensed version, the advantage is that the Cloudbase is the company which provides Jenkins, and in that licensed version, Cloudbase vendor will provide the support, whatever kind of support you require, whether Jenkins in a critical state or Jenkins having any performance issues or any other kind of issues or any bug which caused by plugin. All these can be attended by Jenkins provider. The Jenkins provider company we know, that is Cloudbase. Cloudbase is the company provides Jenkins to us, and the Cloudbase provided licensed version we call it as Jenkins Core. So these things we are already aware. And now let's start about Jenkins further aspects. So whoever asks you what is Jenkins, the straight away you can say automation tool. It is a one line answer and a perfect answer. So whoever asks you Jenkins, you can simply say it is automation tool. We can implement DevOps CI/CD process using Jenkins, but that is not limited to Jenkins. It has wide variety of features. So in your mind, if you wanted to automate any kind of task, you can simply automate using Jenkins. It can be simple shell script or Python script or any cron tab or scheduling. Anything can be performed using Jenkins. So that is why I can call Jenkins as automation tool. And apart from CI/CD or along with the CI/CD, we can implement any kind of automation using Jenkins. And let's see some of the basic aspects of Jenkins. For example, whatever the task or piece of automation which you are planning to do, that I call it as Jenkins job. So in Jenkins perspective, that becomes task, that becomes job. For example, if you wanted to run couple of shell script commands or Windows based commands, and the task you wanted to run, but without your involvement. So you wanted to do that with the automation tool. I call that task as a Jenkins job, and each iteration of that job is called build. That means in any number of times if you run Jenkins job, each run can be called it as a build. And because of, as I told you, huge number of plugins which provide all integrations and customizable features in Jenkins. These are the main aspects of Jenkins, and if you have any doubts you can ask me anytime in the session. So today we'll see how to download the Jenkins, how we can install it, and once we install, how we can navigate in the browser, what is the default port number for Jenkins, and then how I will walk through what are the features of Jenkins. So you can navigate to this URL and download the Jenkins. It is approximately 70 MB, and you can see it is Microsoft Windows installer. And depending on your operating system, you can download Jenkins. And the version I have downloaded, it is not listed here, but you can download any version which you are interested. So as shown in the pictures, I have taken screenshots how we can install the Jenkins. The downloaded version, and which is the latest one, is 2.252. As shown in the picture 1, when you start the installation, this is how it looks. And the second picture, it will ask you which one to choose. So this second picture came very recently, but when you install older version of Jenkins, this picture won't come. This is the new feature provided by latest Jenkins. So you can choose run service as a local system. Even though he is saying not recommended, that is because some other aspects we will not go into that deep now. But you can choose run service as a local system. There is nothing harm in that. And then it will ask you to choose the port number. So earlier these options were not there, and we have to simply click on next to install Jenkins. But now all these options came up because of latest Jenkins version. It will ask you the port number, and the default port number is 8080. You can change to any port number and click on the test port. I provided 8080 and click on test port. Since the port is available, the test is passed. If you wanted to change the port number, you can change it. You can even change the port number after Jenkins installation is done by going to the server.xml file in the configuration directory. In the third picture, it will ask you to choose the JDK. You can choose, by default, it will choose the existing JDK. If you want to change, you can change. And point number 3 and picture number 4 are default options. You can skip and you can go. And in this picture, you can see this is the finishing and progressing of Jenkins installation on your machine. We have nothing to do. We just have to wait and watch. So after the installation is done, Jenkins by default navigate to the default browser in your machine. For me, it went to Internet Explorer. And in the picture one, if you see, initially it will ask you to wait until Jenkins is ready. In the second picture, it will ask you to get the initial admin password. This is the initial admin password which you need to get from your local machine. That means wherever you install Jenkins. So if you provide that initial admin password, then only it will go further. So this initial admin password you should not lose. And this initial admin password you only require once at the time of setting up the Jenkins. So as per the instructions, you can navigate to the specified location. See Windows, System 32, config, system profile, app data, local, and this path you can navigate and get the password. I navigated to that location and I opened that using Notepad++. Or you can open the Git bash or any kind of terminal, and you can use cat command to see the content of that file. Once you provide this initial admin password in the browser, this initial admin password file will be deleted automatically. So once you enter that password, it will go to the next screen. It will ask you to customize Use Jenkins. In that, it will give an option to install the plugins. Either you can install the suggested plugins, or you can choose what are the plugins needs to be installed. So the best thing is to select the first option, that is install suggested plugins, so that it will choose what is required for that particular version. So once you click on install suggest plugins, it will take a couple of minutes, either 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and it will install all the required plugins. Once all the plugins are installed, as per the fourth screenshot, you can see it will ask you to provide first admin user. This is the super user, and it will have all of the elevated privileges. So it's better and mandatory to note down these credentials so that you will not lose these things. I have given username admin and password also admin, and full name also admin, and email also admin. You can choose credentials as per your wish. Once you created initial admin password, it will ask you simple options. Once you click on those things like save and finish, start using Jenkins, then Jenkins will open in the browser. Once Jenkins will open in the browser, this is how it looks. So if you see, this is a Jenkins user interface. Once you will open, it will look like this. So right side, left side top corner, you can see Jenkins, and that is the logo. And right side top corner towards end, you can see logout and admin. Since we created a user called admin, we have admin and logout button. This admin has all the elevator privileges, so we should not forget these credentials. And there are two important things like new item and manage Jenkins. New item is, this will provide all kind of jobs. Manage Jenkins is like a main menu of Jenkins. Whatever the customizations or plugins, so whatever you wanted to do, you can do from manage Jenkins. If you are able to see manage Jenkins, means you have admin access in Jenkins. If you are not able to see manage Jenkins, that means you don't have admin access in Jenkins. So these are some of the features provided by Jenkins. So I can say it is a main menu of Jenkins. Now I will show you by opening the Jenkins what are these features and what individual feature will provide what kind of facility. So if you have any questions as of now, you can ask me. So this is how Jenkins looks when you for first time after you install. And this is the new item. As I told you, it will provide all kind of jobs. And you can say manage Jenkins. If you are able to see manage Jenkins, means you have admin rights. This is the main menu of Jenkins, and it will provide these number of features. And I will go through each one of them and explain what each thing will do. Configure system means this is the global configuration of this Jenkins. So if you click on configure system, you can see some of the global configurations. If you set up some global configuration values here, these are available across Jenkins. You can see some kind of Maven priority configuration option is there. You can specify what is the local path of Maven. We know Maven has local repository and remote repositories. If you wanted to change the default M2 repository, you can change by specifying here. And you can see number of executors. Currently it is mentioned as 2. This is very important. Number of executor means how many number of jobs. Jobs, what I mean is the kind of task you wanted to perform. So if you provide the number of executors, based on that only, those number of tasks can be run. If you wanted to run 100 tasks parallelly, then you can provide 100. If you wanted to run only 2 jobs, you can mention number of executors too. And label. Label means the name which you are going to give to the Jenkins master. Usage. Use this node as much as possible. So Jenkins has master and slave configuration. That means if Jenkins doesn't want to run any jobs on the master and wanted to run his jobs on any kind of slaves, it can do. That means it can off the load and make other Jenkins slaves to run behalf of master so that the load can be carried out by Jenkins slaves. Jenkins slaves also called as Jenkins agents or nodes, anything we can call. And here see Jenkins location. This is the URL of Jenkins. Since we are running in localhost, we kept it as localhost only. We can change it to the respective DNS name if it is a production instance. It is the admin URL, admin email name we can configure. And some of the global properties. So for example, if any tool you wanted to add, either Git or any other thing, you can add it here. And timestamper. This is the default date and timestamp. And the other important thing is GitHub. We can add the GitHub credentials here so that entire GitHub can be configured in your Jenkins, and you can simply use any repository you wanted to clone. And you can see other important feature is global pipeline libraries. These are used to configure Groovy based pipelines. So those are called as shared libraries. Under global pipeline libraries, we will configure Jenkins shared library pipelines, which are originally written in Groovy. We will see those things later. If you wanted to configure Git plugin, you can configure here. So the shell executable. So I have given shell executable program files git bin sh.exe. We need to provide this path. Even once you install Jenkins, you come here and provide the shell executable so that this Jenkins can execute any kind of shell script. And extended email notification. That means this is the section where we can configure SMTP settings so that your Jenkins can send email notifications about the success or failure of your job. So these are all the sum of options related to Jenkins main configuration. I will again go to manage Jenkins and see global tool configuration. In the global tool configuration, these are also the global configuration, but it is tool specific. So I want to configure Maven, JDK, Git, Gradle, and Maven. All these things can be specified here. I will again go to manage Jenkins. And here is the section where manage plugins is available. This is the section very important to install the plugins or to upgrade the plugins. In the update section, we don't have anything because this is the new Jenkins. Let's click on the available and see. In the available section, the plugin list is still loading. It has many number of plugins. It will list out in few seconds. I think available also, it is not showing anything. Let's go to the installed. We can see many number of plugins are already installed. These are all the plugins by default while installing Jenkins we got. Advanced configuration is related to whenever you wanted to upload a plugin to Jenkins, which is not available in this list, then we can go to the advanced section and upload our plugin from here. So I will go to manage Jenkins. And the other option is manage nodes and manage clouds. So as I told you, this is the one section called Jenkins master. Currently only master is available. It will run all kind of jobs which are going to give. If you wanted to off the load of this Jenkins master, you can add a couple of slaves using new node option, and those slaves can run the jobs so that Jenkins master can be free of from the load. These are all the couple of important options in the Jenkins. I'm not going to the remaining options now because we will come to know about the remaining options once we use it. Other important thing is load stats. When you open the load stats, we can see how much Jenkins is used and currently being used. So this is about Jenkins and the main menu of Jenkins. Now I'll go to the new item. In the new item, this is related to Jenkins, where we can create folders or we can create any kind of job. Each job you create performs the task which you specify. You can see Freestyle project, Maven project, pipeline, multi-configuration project, folder, GitHub organization, multi-branch pipeline. Among these, we use very frequently about Freestyle, Maven, pipeline, multi-branch pipeline, and folder. So we very rarely use GitHub organization, multi-configuration project. I will pause here and see if you have any questions. So let's create a first job. So before creating a first job, I want to create a folder for my jobs. So I will name it folder 1 and select the folder option here so that it creates a separate folder for the jobs which I'm going to create. You can give any name rather than folder 1, you can give your name. Or if you are working in a production Jenkins, you can give a team name so that all your team jobs can be stored here. So once you open this folder, you can see same set of options. For example, new item. You'll get the same kind of options. Here, I will create one freestyle job. I'll call it a freestyle to identify very easily. Freestyle means that we can customize the task. I'm going to create a freestyle job now, and I can see here these are the some of the options. So in any job you create, it has two options like source code management and build. These are the two options. And one more important thing is source code management, build, and post build actions. These are the three options mandatorily available for most of the jobs. First, I will directly click on save. Now, if you see, I have in the folder 1 I have created, in that I created one freestyle job. In the freestyle job, I have not specified any task, but still I can build it using the build now option. So once you click on the build now, the task will run. See, the build is happening. Let me open. You can click in this wall and it will open. So this is the section called console log. It will show what are the actions it has performed. You can see it has started by user admin and it is running in the same system. So it is running the workspace called some this location. What is workspace in Jenkins? Workspace means wherever the Jenkins is storing the code or the task information, that is being called as Jenkins workspace. And the status of our task or status of our job is success. That means whatever the task which we have performed, that is successful. But we have not provided anything. So let's provide something and do. So if you wanted to configure the job again, you can click on configure. So as I told you, source code management, build and post build actions are the important. We can relate these three options to our DevOps lifecycle. Like we can call source code management as code, build as build, post build actions is like deployment. So what are the main three stages in DevOps life cycle? Is code, build, deploy. Those three stages we can relate here. Code is nothing but source code management, build is nothing but build, and deploy is nothing but post build actions. In that way, we can relate. The other options like build triggers, build environment general, which will facilitate you different options. Let's go to source code management. Now we need to provide from where the GitHub repository or which repository we need to clone the code. As of now, I don't want to give anything, but still I wanted to perform build. I'll go to build and click on the drop down and select the shell script. This will execute some of the shell script which I'm going to call. So I have given echo command. As I told you yesterday, when you use echo means whatever the input you give, it will display in the console. And I'm not going to touch anything in the post build actions. Let's save it and run it. So what it is going to do? It will perform echo space hello world option task for me. You can see echo space hello world is the command I passed, and the hello world output is came. So once job is configured, you can simply click on build now so that your task can be performed. You don't need to open git bash and run all these commands. So you can automate this kind of things. This is a very basic command which I have ran in the Jenkins build. But you can write any amount of customized shell scripts or any kind of task, any kind of complex scripts also you can automate using Jenkins. I will pause here and see if you have any questions.